Hey guys, in this activity we are going to model how to use proportional reasoning to calculate the height of a tree by measuring the shadows on a sunny day. So by the end our worksheets will look like this. And we will be looking at the relationships between the shadows and where the sun is at. Alright, before we start, let's go over the Common Core standards, the goals and objectives of this lesson, and the academic language. So the Common Core standard used for this lesson is to use congruence and similarity criteria for triangles to solve problems and to prove relationships in geometric figures, in this case in the triangles. And the goals and objectives are to use what we know about similar triangles and their proportions to find the height of a tree based on shadows of the person and the shadow of the tree. And then to use animation to move sunlight and shadow at the same time. So to figure out how to move multiple things with just one animation. And the academic language are similar figures, which are figures that have the same shape but not necessarily the same size. Parallel lines, lines that are always the same distance apart and never touch. And proportional. Two quantities always have the same size in relation to each other, or they have the same ratio. Lastly, we will look at the language function before we start. So the language function, how we're going to use our mathematical language into our lesson is, with the help of proportions, we'll be able to find the unknown height of the tree. The right triangles will be similar figures, and the sunlight will be parallel to the hypotenuse of each triangle. So there we use the academic language and just showed how we are going to apply that to our lesson. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up a new page on this worksheet. So we go to Document Options, Add Blank Page, and that'll give us a blank page that we can work on. So the first step is to draw a horizontal line that will represent the ground. So you just pull the 2 points, and if you press Shift, it'll make sure the line is straight. So that's the first step. After that, we can deselect everything and select the 2 points, and we're going to go ahead and hide those points. After that, we're going to put 2 new points on the line to represent your feet and the tree. So there they are. And we are going to construct perpendicular lines from these 2 points and the line. So we select the 2 points and the line and go to Construct Perpendicular Lines. So these 2 lines represent you and the tree. So we'll deselect that, and after that we want segments to represent the height we would like. So we make a segment on this one, and then a taller segment for the tree on this one, and we can now label those. So we will label this one as U. Move that over a little bit, and we'll label this one as tree. Move that over a little bit. So the next step is to create the sunlight. So for that, it's going to be a ray. So we'll go find the ray tool, and we want it to be on the right of the tree and you, and start above and go down till we intersect the ground. And we can label that sunlight. After we construct the sunlight, we want to construct the shadows that the sunlight will produce off of the tree and off of the U segment. So in order to do that, we select the ray and the 2 points for the tree and U and go to Construct Parallel Lines. So there we have the shadows it'll cast, and we want to make segments of the shadows. So we go into our segment tool and do it from the top to where it intersects the line, from the top to where it intersects the line. And now since we have all that, we can go ahead and hide everything we don't need. So we will click on the lines, the extra lines, and go to Display Hide Lines. And now we are left with the tree and our representation of ourselves and the sunlight, and we can see the relationship it has, the sunlight and the shadows, and how it casts the sunlight. And if you move it, the shadows get bigger. The closer you get to the ground, they get wider. So the point of this exercise was to try and find the length of the tree if you knew the length of your shadow. So in order to do that, we need the measurement of the length of our shadows. So we will measure from A to B, measure that distance, BE, and then we want to measure the length of the shadow of the tree. Let's see, first we have to deselect, and then shadow, tree, and we won't do everything, but we'll just do those two and see how that changes as we move the sunlight. So after that, we can go ahead and add some animation. So we're going to make it to where the sunlight can move on its own by moving along a segment. So let's draw a segment right here, just like that. And we want to deselect everything, and we want to merge the point of the sunlight to the line. So we select both, go to Edit, Merge Point to Segment. So we can, next we need to animate that point. So we'll press the point, go Edit, Action button, Animation, and we want point number 7 bidirectionally along segment 11 at a medium speed. Press OK, and then if you press the animation point, you see that the shadows move just like that. We can make it taller, and then we can make it shorter. Okay, so stop that for a second, move it down here. So just another thing I did is I made a sun. So in order to do that, I'm going to deselect everything, draw a small circle very close to the point, and we can change the color to yellow for the sun. Oops. And we want to merge the middle point, or we want to make a vector from the middle point to the point on the line. So we pick those, transform, mark vector, and then we want to click those again, and we go to Edit, Merge Points, and then we can go ahead and hide this extra point on the sun. So we go to Display, Hide Point, and we want to, that should be it. All you have to do is connect the middle parts, and there we go. We have the sun moving up and down, getting different sizes as it goes in the sky. And then the last step is to just hide the unnecessary things. So the unnecessary lines and segments. So we select them all and go to Display, Hide Objects, and one in the middle. So now we just have the sun out there, and it'll move on its own in the sky, and you can see how it will change the shadows. And from that, finding the other measurements of the hypotenuse, you can find the length of the tree, the height of the tree. So just a recap of the lesson, we use similar triangles to find the height of the tree if we already knew the height of ourselves and the measurement of the shadow the sun cast.